Do you remember when videos on the internet used to be longer? When people would sit through full YouTube videos, blogs, or even short films online? Over time, that began to change. Platforms like Vine and Musical.ly introduced a completely different format. Videos that lasted only a few seconds.
Wow, I'm Squidward.
Road work ahead? Yeah, I sure hope it does.
Built around quick jokes, dances, and looping moments. What started as a playful trend soon grew into a new way of creating and consuming content, where speed, trends, and instant engagement became central to how media worked online. But today, scrolling through short videos has become almost second nature. And in many ways, these platforms have reshaped not just what we watch, but how we experience attention, creativity, and pursuit of validation in the digital world. Excuse me.
I think I was in 8th grade, and that's when I first got introduced to something called Dub Smash. At that time, with all the dance videos and everything, I thought it was really cringe.
So I think I was 14 or 15 when I first discovered Musical.ly, and like everyone around me was making, dance videos, transition videos on different, trending audios and dialogues of like Bollywood movies. So yeah, I was very intrigued and I used to make those videos.
It was during COVID that I discovered the whole TikTok thing, and I was such an enthusiastic dance reel creator. I like the shoe color changing trend and the whole Doja Cat, Megan Thee Stallion. I got really into music because of TikTok and the trends that I found it very fun, exciting, and I felt like I was part of the cool kids back then.
So looking back, I think I was in my 5th or 6th when I created my first TikTok, this footwork challenge, which was very hyped, and I remember doing it with one of my friends and posting it. It was a great experience because I remember after creating this TikTok, I remember sharing it to my friends and sending it to my class group so that I would get likes and everything. So yeah, it was a very fun.
So I came to know about this Musical.ly and TikTok, all those kind of applications from my cousins. I always wanted to do it on my own, but I didn't have the courage to create my own account and start it.
But now, reels, YouTube videos, and YouTube shorts, everything are my daily life. I wake up and that's the first thing I see, and I sleep. Before sleeping, that's the first thing I see, last thing I see.
Life continues to unfold all around in buses, classrooms, cafes, and even while walking. Yet I stay fixed on a steady stream of short videos. The world moves in the background while the thumb keeps scrolling. Short-form platforms were once imagined as spaces for creativity and quick self-expression, places where anyone could share an idea, a joke, or a moment of inspiration. But as these platforms grew, so did the systems that reward visibility. The result is a subtle shift in how people engage with the world around them. Attention often drifts away from immediate surroundings and towards the digital response that might follow, the possibility of recognition, engagement, and validation waiting on the other side of the screen.
Short form media may look like simple on the surface, just like entertainment or something, but if we go deeper, it has a much psychological structure to it. People who use short form media like Reels, YouTube Shorts, or TikTok, they seek validation or they have specific needs. This can be explained by a theory called uses and gratification theory. Whether it's boredom or curiosity or the need to feel connected, these people use short form videos like TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts to feel connected to the audience or feel more validation. And these videos provide this emotional stimulation and also the instant gratification that they need. This can lead to a phenomena called echo chambers.
At the same time, these platforms operate in what the experts call the attention economy. Various social media companies like Instagram, TikTok, they have designed their algorithm in such a way that they want to keep us engaged for a long time using various hooks like notifications, scrolling, personalized recommendations, etc. So our each like, swipe and post is counted by the system, so they can decide what to recommend for us the next. This connects to the idea of surveillance capitalism, where this platform converts the information into profit. So the companies like Instagram, Google, TikTok, they use this information or data, and they personalize advertisement or content feed accordingly to us. You know that we get recommendation for accepting and rejecting cookies when you open some sites. All those are a part of tracking our preferences, right?
For example, I'm buying sandals or something. I go on Google and I search sandals, and then I open my Instagram and my whole feed is just sandals. So these short form platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram have created a platform where anyone can become a creator, storyteller, performer, basically an influencer. But at the same time, it has created an environment where visibility, trends, validation become a huge thing. Like comments, views, and likes become a social reward rather than just for the purpose of entertainment. At the same time, this creates and shapes how people, what they create online and how they view themselves, also affecting their offline personalities, leading to social isolation, anxiety, depression, etc. etc.
It also creates insecurity within the people who are consumers of this content, right?
True.
Research by Custodio shows that Gen Z now spends around 5 hours a day on social media, with total daily screen time reaching nearly 9 hours. And researchers are beginning to question what this means for our minds. As users scroll rapidly from one clip to the next, the brain begins to expect constant fast rewards, making it harder to engage with slower and deeper forms of thinking.
We grew up with a lot more long form content, like longer stuff. Now everything seems very short form, become more faster, more shorter, more engaging that way. Long form, at that time we used to spend time reading things on the internet and stuff. Now more than people are looking at ways in which they want to grab our attention for a short.
I still consider myself to be a very old school social media user. So I know the potential and I know the new innovations, but I don't usually use a lot of innovative social media techniques. My Instagram account, I think, in the year 2014, and at that point of time, Instagram was a shell of what it is today. Instagram has now like ballooned up and grew to what we have today, right, with all the artificial intelligence integration and carousels, etc., etc. That is the beauty of short form content. It's very inclusive in nature. Anybody can, do stuff on the internet in terms of reels, TikToks.
There is definitely creativity, because creativity lies in the constraints. Think out of the box and figure out ways to make things engaging. Trends are linked to the content, right? People go behind what is hot right now, what is happening right now. Right? So trends are just a part of the content creation. Platform is dictating how you should put out the content, because unless the algorithm pushes your content, you're not going to make any money, you're not going to get any reach. So people are going to try and be creative with the constraint that is there in the particular format. But the creativity will depend on what kind of niche content you want to put out. If everybody's doing the same thing, it probably not get an audience. But if you have something different to say within that same space, then it's...
When it comes to social media short form content, the basic elements will remain the same, where you are setting a narrative, molding it, etc., etc. What matters is, and what will set you apart from other social media creators, is that the way you use these elements, or the way you use the set templates to kind of bring innovation to your content creation, and that is what is the most important thing.
These teachers have been struggling with short attention span. We like to blame media and whatever, but it's also making us better teachers in one sense, because we have to constantly now keep reinventing ourselves. The disadvantage is that everything has to be entertaining. Right? We have to also follow the same structure as we have to hook you in the beginning, then bring the body, then call your attention. The problem with that is we kind of make some very important big concepts which has to be studied in depth into very short forms, which kind of cheapens the learning in one sense. In terms of teaching, we have to make a mix between making it entertaining in this hooky format, but at the same time push students to think critically and spend more time on it. Teachers are already starting to make video-based content which will be eventually used in the classroom. Will teachers become just content creators? Like our avatar will teach, but we just have to give it the scripts or tell it what to do.
So what began as short and funny clips on platforms like Musical.ly and Vines has grown into a powerful force shaping the way that we live in the online world. Today, short-form content or short-form videos influence how we spend our time. It expresses how we spend our creativity and influences how we seek attention and validation in the online platforms.
Well, these platforms have given millions of people the chance to create and be heard. They have changed the way in which how we see ourselves, how we express ourselves, and how we connect with others.
With every swipe and with every like, the algorithm learns more about us, deciding on what content to give us next, basically capturing and guiding our attention throughout the process. As we continue to scroll through endless content, the real question remains:
If our attention is the most valuable currency online, who is really spending it?